Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. There's a piece from A&B Crypto titled Ripple Spring committed over $500 million worth of XRP in various companies, claims SVP Ethan Beard. And in the last couple days or so, I've reported a bit on this topic. This is a brand new article with some pieces of information you're going to want to hear, so I'm going to share that with you in this video. I also want to share with you, I'll provide a link to this. There's a really short video clip on Twitter of David Schwartz speaking publicly on the worldwide implications of micropayments if adopted. What would that mean? And it's quite frankly world-changing. And in response to that video clip, former Ripple employee Bob Way, who is a very active XRP community member, he chimed in on exactly what David's talking about in that short clip. And it's fascinating to hear somebody who really understands the technology and came from Ripple speaking on this topic and being just so active and happy to respond to pretty much anybody in the XRP community. Really cool stuff here. And then I'll close out the video with a piece that is not XRP related, and it has to do with Mike Tyson and blockchain. Yes, Mike Tyson and blockchain. I'll just leave it at that and I'll explain as soon as we get to that part of the video. But before we get rolling here, if you would please delicately tap that like button. And if you're a fan of Ripple and XRP, you know what to do. Subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, the best YouTube channel in all the land. Alright, so this piece in A&B Crypto, let's just hop right into it. It has been a tough 24 hours for XRP and Ripple. Oh, God. Okay. Over the last 24 hours, Ripple has suffered a massive devaluation for over 10%, taking its valuation to a new low for 2019. Now, of course, two things here. We know that when they say Ripple, they mean XRP, but they're being kind of jackasses about this. They know the difference between Ripple and XRP, all right? They know it at this point. This is stupid. And why do they have to start? So look, you read the headline and you think, wow, this could be really positive. And then they go right into the fudge. Oh, man, it's been a real tough time for Ripple and XRP. Whew, man. And then they're forced to cover the good stuff because it gets clicks on their website. Okay. However, Spring Ripple's XRP adoption initiative recently revealed a collaboration with Coil and announced that Spring had granted 1 billion XRP, estimated to be worth over $250 million, to Coil in order to monetize the content on Coil's platform. Coil would be essentially using the funds in order to sustain an atmosphere for creators, developers, companies, etc., facilitating XRP for content monetization on the internet. Let me go ahead and break that down a little bit further. You're talking about sustaining as if it's just purely a payout. There's actual utility in this case with XRP. Without XRP, this doesn't work. The business model does not function. It needs to actually be used. So I just want to be clear. There's nothing completely wrong with what they wrote there, but I want to point out, and it's important to point out, there's real utility to XRP. That's why it's important. That's why it's going to be used. That's why it's going to be adopted. And there are bigger implications, though. If you're an XRP holder, if you're speculating, as I am, on the longevity of XRP and its worldwide adoption, perhaps indeed. So the way this works is, as we continue to see cryptocurrencies, specific ones being used in the real world, actually being adopted, what that will do is instill investor confidence for those, first of all, for those holding and those that are thinking about investing into the world of crypto. And I think that you're going to see a lot of diversification of portfolios outside of traditional asset classes. You will see a lot of new speculators enter the space in the coming years and decades, and you'll also see a lot of institutional money coming in. And I'm telling you, the way that individual retail speculators have parsed out the space will be dramatically different than the way in which institutional money will invest. They're not just going to throw their money all willy-nilly like the irrational retail speculators did in 2017, leading to that crazy parabolic run up to almost $1 trillion in market cap for the crypto asset class. No. If they're going to put their members' money in anything as institutional investors, they're going to make damn sure that they know what it is, and they're going to be confident that it will have staying power. And of course, they want asymmetrical returns. That's perfectly reasonable, and they're going to want exposure to the asset class. It's coming. Anyway, the piece continues. In a recent episode of the Ripple Drop, Reinhard Gate interviewed Ethan Beard and discussed the development of Spring in the industry. During the interview, Ethan Beard, Senior Vice President of Spring, was asked about its achievements since the initiative's inception. Beard responded that Spring had been pretty active over the past year, and the company had invested in over 20 projects of the crypto space. Beard said, and here's a quote, "We have committed over $500 million in XRP to various companies throughout the ecosystem. One of the areas that I'm most excited about is that we're really starting to layer in developer tools for inside of Spring and really looking to make Spring into much more of a developer platform." And I think that's cool as hell. Anyway, Beard added that the platform was building APIs, SDKs, technical libraries, and services, suggesting that the initiative would be putting in significant effort to reach various developers around the world and also bring products to the global market. That is awesome. So, you don't see this type of commitment to any cryptocurrency to this scale outside of the XRP community. Fine, there's support for Bitcoin, there's support for Ethereum and other projects. And that. The scale to which XRP is being supported, especially by Ripple, man, there's just like nothing else like this. They are throwing money everywhere it makes sense. They are vetting the entities through which they're investing into, whether it's Coil or Omni, whatever it may be, that's funded through the Spring Initiative. But wow, like they get the big picture. And what I like is it's not even all specifically just about XRP. I like the idea of growing the size of the pie and then XRP just getting to maintain a piece of that, because there's not going to be a one-size-fits-all crypto. There's not going to be one coin to rule them all. So grow the pie, and then XRP will get a bigger piece of what is available in terms of actual usage. That's a huge part of Ripple's strategy, and that's a huge part of why the Spring Initiative exists. It's not just XRP. It's about adoption. It's about interledger protocol. It all makes sense here. I think it's the coolest stuff on the planet. And then you talk about XRP's potential with micropayments, which brings me to the next subject. And this is a tweet from I Am Legion on Twitter, tagged David Schwartz. And are you saying that the problem with large payments for small payments, XRapid, is solved with micropayments? And then there's this 20-second clip here. You'll just have to listen to it if you want to. But he's talking about how he believes that really micropayments, they could quite seriously change the world and the way in which money moves. And then former Ripple employee Bob Way responded to this, which I thought was cool. He always is rather insightful. I love listening to this guy talk when he's being interviewed by anybody. He's been on a couple XRP YouTubers channels fairly recently within the last few months, and I really enjoyed watching that. And I read everything that he writes. I seek to read it. He's just a wealth of knowledge, and he's got quite the interesting background. So anyway, he wrote, "What David is alluding to is what ILP-v4 called penny switching. It is the basis for the streaming payments that Coil is doing. The idea is that a lot of small payments accumulate into one large payment. But along the way, each small payment doesn't have to take the same path." And so somebody named Mike Peters wrote, "So if in the future, hypothetically, every transaction that is made and settled in real time, regardless of size, would eliminate the large payments that essentially are a bulk of accumulated small payments." And then Bobway wrote in response to that, "Currently, sending large payment requires a lot of trapped capital waiting in Nostro accounts. Sending the same large amounts as an accumulation, a lot of small payments reduces that, quote, trapped capital. This is because simultaneous payments flowing in opposite directions alternate." And that was very fascinating to me because I haven't heard it described in that way. And check out this. So here's an analogy that he ended up using in the next tweet. He wrote, "If you want an electrical analogy, synchronized payments are DC, direct current. Penny switching is AC, alternating current. Both get the job done, but each has unique benefits in particular situations." I think that's cool stuff. And when it comes to micropayments here, the reason that technologically this wasn't possible, because people are like, well, why can't you just spend fractions of an actual penny, United States dollars, using existing ledgers outside of blockchain? Well, the problem is with something centralized like that, it is technologically fundamentally different. If you can have automated systems, and if they're trustless, you can eliminate all sorts of layers of human management that would otherwise be necessary to make sure that everything's on the up and up. Micropayments, quite simply, were not reasonable unimaginably possible prior to this type of technology. And it's neat because we're at the beginning stages of the adoption of this type of technology, and I don't know what the landscape will exactly look like. And David Schwartz even states, hey, we don't know what the implications of this totally will be. It's kind of like predicting in 1995 what's going to happen because of the internet. But it's cool because we're at the beginning stages of this, and one day we'll get to look back 5, 10, 20 years from now and be like, oh yeah, and then it's going to seem obvious in hindsight, just like the internet does. Because living today, I mean, could you imagine a world without streaming video, without social media and without Uber, all this stuff that happened that's available and possible technologically thanks to the internet? But could you have seen that there were going to be smartphones, essentially strong computers in everybody's pocket the world over, It's who would have foreseen that? It's like it's kind of like when I was in grade school, the teacher saying, "Well, you better learn, you better make sure that you know how to do all of your times tables, all of your math and your multiplication and division, because you're not always going to have a calculator in your pocket." Actually, I always have a calculator in my pocket, third grade teacher. So just something to think about. But I look forward to seeing things unfold, and who knows what the implications are. And that's why I hope something like a project like Coil with their vision for web monetization. I really hope that they find success. For me, on a personal level, because I hate paywalls and I hate advertisements, so I really like the idea of being able to provide monetization in a different way that allows content creators, yes, to be compensated, but you don't have to. If you're the one consuming the content, you don't have to worry about the paywalls or the advertisements. And when Coil, I hadn't mentioned this in a long time, but it's just, maybe some of you know this, but when Coil actually, they had a meeting with the team at Apple, and somebody on the team, as Stefan Thomas, the founder of Coil, was explaining how Coil works. Somebody at Apple at the meeting says, "Oh, okay, so Coil's basically the Amazon Prime of the entire internet." And I thought, well, okay, that's a cool way of wording it, and it's pretty accurate. It makes sense in many ways. It's just one flat fee, and then you can, in theory, unless somebody really wants to still have a paywall, you can eliminate all paywalls and advertisements too. So it's just the Amazon Prime of the entire internet. Anyway, last piece here for this video. It's from Cointelegraph. It's titled, "Mike Tyson, I am not involved with Fight to Fame or their countdown website." American legendary professional boxer Mike Tyson has denied news putting forward his support for a blockchain-based platform for fighters dubbed Fight to Fame, which is allegedly a fraudulent scheme. In a tweet published on August 14th, Tyson said, "I am not involved with Fight to Fame or their countdown website, nor will I be involved with anything related to Fight to Fame now or in the future. Any media reporting my current involvement isn't accurate." Earlier in August, Cointelegraph and VentureBeat reported that Tyson will serve as the founder and chairman of the Sports and Competition Committee for allegedly blockchain-based sports project Fight to Fame. The project also allegedly considered issuing a so-called Tyson token and a token sale in early June. This spring, crypto research and analysis firm Cointelligence released the results of its research into the project, and its founder and CEO, that's an opportunity to butcher a foreign name here, Xi Jinping, I'm sorry, I really don't know how to say that, calling Fight to Fame a total fraud. Cointelligence revealed that Xi is wanted by Interpol and the Chinese regulatory authorities on charges of fraud and illegal fundraising that caused losses to investors of more than 10 billion won, which is about $1.5 billion. On August 16, Tyson's wife and manager, Lakia Tyson, told technology-focused media outlet Modern Consensus that Tyson and her had negotiated working with the project several years ago. However, later they made very clear they are not involved with Fight to Fame. So there you go. It's in the news. I thought it was fascinating, so I wanted to cover it. But that's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!